everybody, it's Kevin here, and I'm seated next to Stephane Roy. And you have brought Thief along to show everybody today.
Exactly.
Right? And credit where it's due, Sebastian is over to my right, driving, so that he can play the game while you talk. And we'll be jumping around a little bit to different portions of the game. So when that happens, we'll be cutting away, and you'll get to see our giant mugs staring you in the face. But for now, Stephane, what are you showing us today in Thief?
We're going to play a little bit the mission 1, and but I hope that we're going to receive a lot of questions. I'm really here to answer all the questions you may have.
Yeah.
And while we answer, we're going to show you live the different type of gameplay. And if you have any question, please drop them.
Yeah. If you're watching on Twitch, that's where to ask.
Exactly.
So flood us with questions. I will ask them. And I'll beat them on the head if you don't think the answer is good enough, and so on and so forth.
So now we are, it's not really the beginning of the game. Just before this, there is a kind of introduction, kind of tutorial, kind of big accidents happening at the beginning of the game, and now you're back 1 year after this accident. But you don't remember anything about it. So the game is really to find out, all right, what did happen in this year?
Right.
So your first objective, you can see the clock tower, it's your hideout. So you have to go in your hideout. So the game starts like this.
Hear all, hear all! Traitor's Gate closed till morning, by Baron's decree.
So people are saying to make sure to get all of the shiny objects. So make sure to get all of the shiny objects.
Why I'm not a politician.
Is there a third-person view? Is question 1, and I know the answers, but why don't you throw them out the answers, Stephane? Third-person view.
No, it's a first-person game because we really feel that it's part of the DNA of this franchise.
Right.
Also, it helps a lot for the immersion, and I'm pretty sure it would be a very good game in third person, but it would be a complete different game.
But there is a little bit of an asterisk next to that answer.
You're right. You're right.
But it's a very tiny one, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you're doing a little of the shimmying up pipes and stuff like that. The game will move out into third person.
You're right, but it's
very.
I don't know.
Short
I know you're playing the game now, and is it 5-10% maybe? 2% of the game?
0.5%.
Let's say.
Maybe. It's meaningless, and it's really only there to give you a better idea of your surroundings. It would be very uncomfortable to be staring at the wall trying to figure out how to leap around on the
it's
the pipes
exactly.
in that way.
It helps you for the vertical navigation. But no, it's really mainly it's a first-person title. Yeah.
So somebody asking if this game is like Assassin's Creed. No. On the overall, no. But there's a larger asterisk next to that one too.
Okay.
Do you think that this game is at all like Assassin's Creed, or did you get any inspiration from Assassin's Creed or other games for that matter? I mean, we look at Assassin's Creed as maybe an example, not a great one, but an example of, say, something that you can do with stealth in modern games. So did you take any inspiration from, say, Assassin's Creed, Dishonored? What are the things that you thought about and looked at?
When you work on that type of project, I mean, movies, music, other games like, yes, Assassin's, it's a good example. Yes, we are collecting, why this game is so popular, what they do good and stuff like this. So yeah, I would lie if I tell you no inspiration. It's just, that's not true.
Right.
Working on that type of project, we look around and we, but at the end of the day, the goal is really to make sure that when we put all this together, it tastes Thief. It's our own game, and you don't have the feeling that it's part of anything. So I think we did a good job for this. I really believe that we respect the franchise because for 10 years is between the last game and this one, so it's been a big challenge to bring back this franchise, respecting the legacy, but at the same time talking to today's gamer.
Right.
And now the game will be available in a couple of days, so you are going to be able to tell me if finally we did a good job or not.
Looking back on, say, Thief 3, and I'm sure you guys played a lot of the previous Thief games to really make sure you were, sticking to what you feel the franchise does well. Are there things that now, looking back on these games, things that just didn't hold up and had to be reimagined, rethought, things that just couldn't have worked now in the way they played before?
Doesn't work. I don't know, but I mean, let's talk about, this game is light and shadow, right?
Right.
So, playing the previous game for also a technical aspect, 10 years, 12 years ago, the shadow path was really, dark or light. Today speaking, with all these, the next gen and stuff like this, the lighting is so, it's kind of violent, eh?
I was really just going to think you were going to pickpocket him and get out of the way, but really? Anyway, back to where we were.
But that's okay. It proves that you can play this game like you want, So it's you're a ghost, you're a predator. But I was about to tell you that yes, the just for the for example, how the light is working in the game and stuff like this, because now next gen and stuff like this, it's different because it's not just pitch dark and very light. There is a different type of gray, let's say. And that has been a challenge for us to play with this.
So, well, before we get to the questions, here we're looking for the switch. Yeah. Obviously, there are switches behind this painting. We're gonna open it up, and boom, there is a safe. But there's also a code. Now, if you really wanted to break into this safe, you need the code. How is it that how do you get this information spread through the city, disseminated in ways where it's not like, oh, there just happens to be a little note with the combination right there. Like, what's the trick to you so it's not frustrating to figure out what this combination is while still making it feel like you've discovered?
Make you feel that you're smart, yeah?
Yeah, as opposed to, nobody writes down their computer passwords and puts it right there. I mean, I look back on something like Deus Ex Human Revolution. If you really applied some fridge logic to this stuff, really? But on the other hand, it sort of worked in that game because there were so many computers that, now it's not everywhere. It's not like you're going through an office just filled with computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to rethink this. How do you do that? What's the right,
the
in between? What's the balance?
So you're right. For this game, all the background story is really important. So there is a lot of document you can read. You're going to learn more about the city, the citizen, and sometime we're going to drop some crucial information. So a good example is when you're in the city hub, where you're in your hideout. It's in a big city, and you can go in the street and really go where you want. It's a kind of a big open area, and there you're going to find different information. And there is, I don't know if you noticed, there is 3 big monuments in the city, and if you find them in a specific order, you're going to have something. You are going, but I mean, it's really not, like you said, it's really not carved in the stone. Hey, do this and this.
And it's not in your face.
No.
You go, you pick up these. I mean, having done that now, like you go and you pick up these. They're basically just sketches that you find, and they give you an idea of how to, where these things are and what you need to get to. And
a lot of people told us that, according to them,
according
to people,
okay,
a lot of people feel that sometimes, today speaking, the game are a little bit too easy. All right, they feel that we hold your hand and you don't have to think, you just have to progress, and that's it. So we worked hard to make sure that you won't have this feeling with this game. So don't get me wrong, it's not just impossible to finish the game. The game is not, you should be able to figure out what to do, but we worked very hard to make sure that you are going to be proud. Okay, hey, I did it,
Right. And so you've also got a lot of side stuff in the game too, as well as a lot of ways to sort of tailor the experience. I mean, we were going through all the menu options before about how you can tailor what the game shows you and what it doesn't, and certainly focus is part of this. A lot of people asking about so-called thief vision or what they're calling it. Tell us about the inspiration behind doing that and about the ways that you can sort of tailor the experience if you don't care for the idea.
All right. Talking about this, we just saw that Sebastian went in the menu, and now he turned off everything, and now it's just immersion, complete immersion, nothing, no more flashy effect over the objects, letting you know that you can pick them, no out and stuff like this. The focus, it's the same thing. So at the beginning of the game, a big accident happened, and after that, when you come back, you have this capacity, the focus. This will help you if you lockpick, if you use your bow. The focus will support you, will help you to be, let's say, a better thief. That said, like you just said, a lot of people feel that it's cheating by using it.
Right.
So we did make sure that you can just disable it and you don't use it, and that's it.
And so just now you're using rumble as your only, as your only indicator when picking the lock, for example.
So we did design the game that to beat the game you don't need this, all right? But it helps you. It makes the game a little bit, not easier, but different.
So let's say that I do decide to do all this stuff with thief vision, and I use focus, and there are lots of different ways to use it. You can activate it during combat to get it, if you get caught, give you a little bit of a hand there, or so on and so forth. What about those folks who want a way out? Some of us don't. I'm not saying I'm one of these people, but say some of us don't like necessarily the idea of being like, oh, I'm caught. That's pretty much it. Like I've screwed up and now it's all over. What about the folks that want to be able to have the chance to flee, to escape, to have a fighting chance? Do you think that it's, what are the tools that people have, and do you think that it's fun to actually use those tools, or do you purposely sort of make it not so much fun so that people avoid doing that stuff as much as possible? What's the balance there?
Yeah, okay. We worked hard on this because giving you a lot of tools to fight and punch people and clean a room will destroy the gameplay because you're not a soldier. But at the same time, a lot of people told us during playtests, for example, that the guard just saw me, but please, that's not true. I'm game over. I want to be able to do something. I don't want just to restart the game like 10 years ago it used to be.
Right.
This is my way.
So we worked very hard to give you this. Yes, you can fight, but it should not be too easy. So if you have a face-to-face, you should win. 2 against you, difficult. 3 against you, you should run. Because the guard should be better than you. With the focus, it helps. You can you can really select precisely where you want to punch the guard. Of course, you can use your bow, but no, it's not the main thing you should do. You should try to avoid combat, honestly.
2 good questions coming up. One is the size of the levels. How open and big are they? That's something from Dargy, and then we'll move out of that because it might be somewhat related. Is the engine that you're using?
The engine we're using is Unreal. It's a story-driven game, so the game is divided by mission. But between each mission, you're back in your hideout and you're in the city. So what does it mean? It means that during the mission, it's a little bit more linear because we want to tell you a good story. And when you're in the city hub, it's completely open. And now you do what you want. There is side quest. There is a lot of objects to find. There is puzzle and stuff like this. So this is how we have a kind of mix. That said, mission doesn't mean that it's really just straightforward. There is a lot of different paths in the mission. But at the end, we really want to bring you where we want for the story. Yeah.
A lot of people asking, and I wish I could do a good Jerry Seinfeld impression, but I can't. But what's the deal with the hands? They're seeing something new for them, which is we're used to just sneaking around in first person, but everything's just sort of first person now. Particularly when you crouch, and then of course when you get behind cover, you see Garrett's hands. What was some of the thinking behind that?
He had it come.
During the conception, we putting on the whiteboard, okay, what is this game and stuff like this. So we came to the conclusion that yes, you are going to have a blackjack, you have a bow, you are going to have different type of arrows. So we are going to have very powerful tools. But at the end of the day, we feel that the ends are your best tool. As a thief, this is really important. So that's why we decided to move forward with this and having them implicated in different type of gameplay, frame search, lock picking, and stuff like this. So it's a kind of, you're right, it's a kind of a trademark for us. Yeah.
So who's your hand model? That's just a question for me.
Probably the art director.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is kind of curious if you actually had somebody come in.
It's a good question. This screen is also really important for us because at the end of each mission, we're going to tell you what type of player you are for this mission. You know? So after each mission, we are going to tell you, all right, for this one, you played a little bit like, according to the screen, Sebastian played like a predator. So
and I'm very disappointed in you. Just to show you the garage. Yeah, I know, but you know, I'm still disappointed in you. I really would have liked to have seen a lot more of the dark gray, a little bit less of that lighter one in that pie chart.
I mean, if we have time after that, we can redo the mission, and I guarantee Sebastian will be a perfect ghost. But here, predator, so it's easy to understand. Hey, a lot of headshot with the bow, using your blackjack. Ghost, nobody will see. Opportunist, it's a mix. Like if you use the water arrow to create your shadow path, using the environment, a lot of pickpocket. This is the opportunist. And here, as you can see, there is 60 loots in this mission to find. So if you found something like 50%.
There's actually a lot of stuff in these levels to sort of grab.
Be curious. When you play this game, be curious, because you're going to be amazed to see that if you feel that, okay, I'm sure I found everything, and when you're going to reach the screen, you're going to notice that no, there is always something missing behind you.
So how do you define an opportunist? Crimson wants to know, and that's actually a good question. You know, obviously I can figure out how the game decides if I'm a ghost or a predator, but what's opportunist? What's that all about?
Okay, so like I said, so let's say there is oil patch in this game, and we have fire arrow, right?
Which is my favorite way of one of the particular missions in the game. Is my favorite way to get through it.
So by using fire arrow on the oil patch, and you make sure that there is some enemies there, you are using the environment. You know, so this is opportunist. You are using what you see around you. You are going to create your shadow path by using your water arrow and stuff like this. This is opportunist. Perfect ghost. Honestly, nobody has a clue you were there. They still think that their life is perfect. They have no more loots in their house, but they feel that everything is fine, you know?
Right. So, just Sebastian, people want you to play whatever you play next as Ghost. It seems to be the popular request. So, for whatever it's worth, I think we're ready to.
Okay, so let's switch. Let's show another mission.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at our mugs for a minute while you move in and out of.
And I will. While we change mission, I would like to talk about the, and I ask the question, okay? Because we have a lot of options. When you start a new game, we are going to give you access to a lot of settings. And you can decide if, for you, if let's say the focus is a kind of cheat, you can just turn it off, okay?
I'm not laughing at you, by the way. I was laughing at.
Right.
We'll get to that in a second.
And so you can decide if you want to be, if you are detected, you are game over, or if you die, you restart the game from the beginning. So maybe if people want to see him playing with a lot of option on, we can do it also.
Somebody asking how many cock rings the game has. I'm not exactly sure where that question comes from, but there is a really interesting bit of dialogue in the game that does go there.
But
so
that's great. It means it's really important for me. If you're curious and if you really listen, you're going to hear amazing
There's a
stuff.
lot to hear.
Yeah.
And that is one of my favorite bits of overheard dialogue. But it's interesting because there's a lot of talk too about, and I want to get to the story for a minute, because beyond the overheard bits, some of that's just world building, right? You just overhear people talking about stuff, and it's not really part of the main story or even any specific side story. It's just building world. It's letting you know where you are, what this place is about. But there is a lot of talk about the gloom, early on, and I'm kind of wondering if you can let people know sort of what is the gloom and what is the city? What does the city stand for, and What is it that they're worried about here? There's a lot of stuff going on in this place.
Yeah. When you start the game, the city looks like another wonderful city. Things looks cool, and life is good for a thief because there is a lot to steal. And like I said, when you're back 1 year later, something did happen because now the city is kind of sick. Everybody is talking about the gloom and stuff like this. And this is what you will have to find out. What did happen? The kind of the baron, the guy ruling the city, he really want to bring the city in a more modern period, industrial period. But I guess, and I say that, I guess, should hit the fan somewhere in his plan, and now it's not going exactly like he was expecting, And by moving and progressing in the game, you're going to start to understand, all right, this plus this, finally all these connections together. Okay, you're going to find out that, okay, something big did happen, and yeah, it's not...
Where do you think, in terms of the storytelling, where do you think the balance falls in Thief between linear storytelling that's telling a specific part of the story and stuff that's more just about, the story of the city itself and just building your own idea of what this place is?
I know for a lot of people, the background story for that specific type of game is really important. So this is what we have done. Hard Night. Yeah, the Hard Night. It's a little bit too heavy for you. So we, the narrative director, we worked very hard to give you, yes, you have the story, but if you read newspaper and the document and you listen people talking in the street, you're going to understand much more about what did happen. We are going to have the big picture. But if you're not curious or you just want to progress very quickly, you're going to understand. But by reading and listening, you're going to have a better idea.
Somebody, Nefarious36 says, this is actually a good question, that there's a rumor going around that jumping is context sensitive. So let's talk about the movement in the game in general, jumping. There are, in some cases you have freedom, in other cases there are limitations. What were the decisions behind behind the locomotion in the game, and exactly how do those things work and come together?
So all right, to make it short, if you are you go there, let's say, and you want just to jump, you're right, there is no jump button. You cannot just jump like this. But if you are in front of an obstacle, you're going to jump over it. It's really you're just using the left trigger, and the left trigger is really the navigation button, let's say. So if you want to climb and jump and stuff like this, the left trigger is your best friend. Yeah. Okay.
Oh dear.
No. You said perfect ghost, so it's gonna be a ghost. But sometime.
I'm gonna trust you. I know that you're just being prepared. You're being careful. You've got that. You got that little implement that you stole from Aaron. What is that thing? Might as well tell people what's up with that.
I just want to make sure.
With the grabber.
Oh, the claw.
The claw, yeah.
Yeah, it's something new we added in this game. It's to give you access to higher position, and giving you that type of point of view. Now you can scan the environment and see, all right, what is the best way for me to go in the dimension, for example. So, the oil patch. You saw the oil patch. Yeah. It's
locked himself up.
So the claw helps you to climb and go above and see what's going on.
So obviously you've chosen this particular way to infiltrate. Typically speaking, when the mission has you needing to enter a particular area, how many different ways am I going to have of getting in there? Sometimes you can go through the front door, but sometimes you don't want to do that, and you just pickpocketed that nice young lady who never did a thing to hurt you. But in terms of choice, how much choice do I have?
But it's what we just saw. When you're in the big garden and you have to go in dimension, it's a good gameplay situation where you are going to have multiple options to go in.
Right.
So you're right. If you really want to prove that you are above law, you can use the main entrance. Much harder, but it's possible. Or a secret passage. So the level design is done that we're going to give you a couple of different options. Also, are going to give you option if you are, because you can buy different tools in the game.
Right.
A wrench, for example. So if you have this tool, you're going to have access to a specific path that if you don't have it, it's not accessible for you. So it depends on how you play.
Blow up the keep. The jails are full of their own friggin'
How you feel, basically. If you had, you feel more aggressive tonight, please enjoy. Use your really powerful bow, and you should have a smile.
Now let's say I've turned focus off. I want to do this without any focus at all, and so on. But there's still, at least to me, it feels like there should still at least be something that the game gives you. So for example, let's say I'm not using focus. I've turned everything off. There are traps in this game. There are, for example, pressure plates that you can step on, and there. By the way, there are also lots of paintings. There's a goat person with big boobs. I just want to point this out if you're into that Thief has it for you. Anyway, but
it's a mature game.
Yes, it is. Did you, were you still careful to make sure that for people that do want to play that way, that there's enough information in front of you that if you are being careful, you can avoid the traps, you can avoid the things?
Always. It would be unfair with you if it's not like this. So if you turn off stuff, we won't penalize you, but it's going to be more difficult. A very easy example, the lockpicking, okay? If you have all the interface, you're going to see, all the visual button and stuff like this. You can turn off you can turn off the HUD. So now you don't have the visuals, but you still have the rumble. You can turn off the rumble. It's still possible to do the lockpicking without the rumble and without the visual. But now you will have to pay attention on Garrett's fingers animation. It's more difficult, but it's still possible. I don't want to penalize you. It's your game. So we did make sure that it's not an obligation. Now he's going to play a little bit with him.
Go on then, have a look.
Same thing. You see above him, now you see that he's kind of nervous. He's really curious and he's going to have a look. If you turn off the HUD, you won't have these information. Harder.
And of course, you just slowly walked over a little patch of broken glass, something to be, one more thing to be on the lookout for.
Thanks to bring it.
Sound, how is sound involved in how you go through the levels and how the game communicates to you?
Yeah, it's thanks to bring it. It's you're right. You have to pay attention how. So here it would be a perfect spot for Garrett because there is rug, so it's less noisy. You have to pay attention where you walk. During the game, if you want to be a ghost, you can upgrade. You can have buy new shoes, and these shoes will be less noisy. But if you are more aggressive, probably you're going to spend your gold for powerful arrows, for example. So depending how you play, we're going to try to support your how you want to spend your gold. We're going to have to give you different type of offer.
Electroband's curious about scary moments in this game. We actually had a conversation before the stream started about that very subject. What would you say to Electroband?
At the beginning, we did our homework and we checked, okay, what is a thief game? And we noticed that in the previous title, there is always that, that type of element in a game, a specific map. A lot of people are always talking about, I remember in the second game, there is this specific section. It was so, scary and stuff like this. So I told you, we did our homework. So yes, we're going to have that type of mission. Yeah, I think it's important. And especially with the first-person game like this, it's so it works so well because the pressure, the tension is there. You have no clue what is behind you. So yeah, I like these moments.
I'll try to check GameSpot comments too. Dan just slipped me a note, and it isn't that he likes me and would like to walk me home after school.
It'll go easier on you if you come willingly.
Let's take a look.
You were the biggest admirer of
Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore GameSpot, folks. Hard to keep track of multiple things at once. Lots of comments. Let's check in on you and see what folks are saying. A couple good things. Somebody asking why no PC showing. It's because you brought the PS4 version. There's no conspiracy.
No, and honestly, if you are a PC gamer, you're going to be in love with the version because the PC version is done by Nixes. It's the same company who worked on the PC version of Deus Ex Human Revolution, for example. They are really, really good. It's their specialty. You're going to have a PC version, not a port, and the PC version, it looks amazing also. But you're right, no conspiration. It's just that we have the PlayStation for now, but the PC version is very solid. All the PC option you can imagine will be there. Yeah, they did a good job.
So what's in this sort of ties into something Electroband said before as well about because what I didn't mention is when he threw in the bit about Are Things Scarier is just a crouching simulator, which obviously is kind of an unfair thing with a stealth game to say that, but regardless, on GameSpot, the 13 stuff wants to know what keeps this game from becoming monotonous. What are the ways that you mix the gameplay up without losing its identity?
Good, very good question. This game is. I hope you are going to have this feeling when you are when you start the game and you headset and you start to play. I hope you are going to forget where you are and you are going to be in this city. And after that, if you are a curious player and you like to find everything and you like to sneak around, you should not have a look on your watch every 2 minutes, I guarantee, because there is a lot to find. There's a lot of secrets. There is a lot of, kind of puzzle. You can play it in a different way, a different type of action. So, anyway, like I said, the game is available in a few days. You are going to be the best judge. People will tell us. But I think we did a good job to avoid to be too, every time it's always the same thing.
Udall is very curious. So there's been a lot of talk about how you basically yanked her earrings right off of her ears before you continued along their way. But Udall's really stuck on the cock ring thing, so I'll answer the question for you and say, no, you will not be thieving cock rings directly off of the wearer.
That should buy me back the element of surprise.
So, just to be clear, that's not a thing that you do.
Thanks for the precision.
It's maybe DLC.
But I repeat, it's a mature game, yeah?
Yeah, it is a mature game. There is, yes. And I mean, if you weren't sure before that, big-breasted goat woman was really a good clue of that. So, but you know what? If you're into the big-breasted goat women, there's a whole line of paintings for you to collect in Thief. So, I hope you don't mind if I hope that's not considered
no, that's okay.
A spoiler.
And what I like,
Thief.
Can you start a new game, please? I would like to show you the what we talk a little bit. So now, the difficulty, you see that it's of course there is the easy, medium, and hard.
Right.
So master, it's the difficult, and after that we are going to give you all these options. Sorry. So, all the good old time, it was possible to save only after each chapters.
Right.
You have it, and the point you see if you turn on everything. The point here, the total, I think the maximum is 1,300. So there is a leaderboard there. And I'm looking forward to see how many people will finish this game with the maximum of points. Because we have a lot of options. So no focus, like we said, no reticle. Go down a little bit, Sebastian, please. You are going to see no food, because it's not like other game. If you go in a dark corner and you wait, you won't gain energy, right?
Right.
It's not self-replenish. Yeah. 0 damage, it means that if you have a damage, you're going to restart your chapter. But if you go down again, you cannot run. And here, now it's really, really for...
Iron Man, you die once, you're done?
Bingo, so go on Iron Man, please. Alright, so if you die or fail the mission, you lose your game entirely and must restart from the beginning.
And if you don't, what are some of the ways that you can fail a mission besides death? I know some of the answers, but...
let's say you turn on also, because one answer is alert at the end. If you are detected, if you turn on this, if you are just detected, you are mission failed. So this plus the Iron Man together, can you imagine? Because we have birds, for example, in this game, and if you make too much noise close to the birds will become an alerter, and if a guard is close, it's going to come to see. So let's say a bird notice you're there, and walk, and now with Iron Man, you're game over. So after, I don't know, 20 hours of gameplay, you restart the game. Personally, I will never play like this, but I'm really curious to know how many people will finish the game with these at this point on the leaderboard.
So let's say I'm not a leaderboard chaser,
Yeah.
and I'm just interested in the things that, because you do earn money, you do earn, you can buy basically skill points to spend on making things a little bit easier for you. For example, what are my rewards in game outside of the leaderboards? If I want, do I get more currency for being stealthy? Do you credit me more with that? And do you think it's appropriate to reward people more for that?
So first, leaderboard are there really for us. We're curious to see, all right? Okay, because honestly, the main goal of these options is really to make sure that you're going to play the game you want. Okay, so if for you Thief should be a little bit difficult, you have all the option there.
Right.
The leaderboard is it's us in Montreal. We are curious how many people. So that said, my answer is no. We don't want to. There is no judgment on our side. If you play aggressive, it's your game. So I will not remove from your pocket some gold because you're aggressive. So the cost of the objects or how you're going to receive if you sell them is the same, aggressive or ghost. It would be unfair. I mean, it's how you want to play.
I'm ready. I can't wait to see what you're doing next. Hopefully, you're doing Iron Man. Oh, okay. This should be fun.
I'll have to level select.
Yeah. Which mission?
Top down.
Okay.
All right. So we're.
We will try.
Sadly, I didn't. My favorite. Sadly, you're not showing my favorite side mission in the game, but we'll get there. I'll get to describe that later.
It's the one with the cock ring, right?
It's not the one with the cock ring. Although that is one of the better bits of overheard dialogue. And they just keep going on and on. There's a very large amount of conversation, surprising amount of conversation around a cock ring in Thief. It was pretty surprising to me that they have that many things to say about cock rings. So whoever the cock ring expert is at Eidos,
I did hire a couple of specialist scriptwriter about this, and no, I'm
good.
joking.
You called in some specialists. So here we go. We're on Iron Man. If you really wanted to impress me, you would have turned off all of the interface. But I'll let you. Don't do it just for me. Don't do it just for me.
Yeah,
do it for them.
Yeah.
Do it for.
He is
for
a
them.
proud man, so he will. He want to prove you.
And of course, there are ways of failing besides death. There was one place where I didn't do something quite fast enough.
And I guarantee that yes, it's possible to beat the game like this because we had to test it, right, to validate it. So a couple of testers in Montreal can do it. So it's possible, but it's
possible and unlikely. Somebody keeps doing the thing. There's a rumor going around that jumping is context sensitive. We've already addressed that one.
But he's right. But he's right. You cannot go on the roof and just jump like this. But if you are in front of an obstacle, you're going to jump over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's contextual. But you cannot just jump middle of some anywhere.
Oh, Nefera says he's sorry. He didn't mean to paste that back in. Yeah. Are there multiple endings? Let's talk about the issue of choice. You've got the issue of choice in terms of how you approach missions and such. But are there different endings? Is there any real story choice?
No, because again, we really want to. We are around a campfire with marshmallow, and hey, what's upon a time? I want to give you a very good story. So no, the ending is the same.
All right, so water arrow there to put out the fire. I'm stressed now.
Oh, and
you're pickpocketing on top of everything else.
Good job.
Someone there.
So, but water arrows are particularly helpful, but you have to keep in mind that if they're looking or close by, they will notice that the fire has suddenly gone out, and they'll actually go over and relight it.
Yeah, you're right. I have to say something, and Sebastian will be sad, but I will.
Okay.
It is a little bit cheating right now. You know why?
Why?
Because I know that in the cheat menu, because for this demonstration, he didn't make sure to have unlimited.
Oh, that's right. You have unlimited
So it's not
inventory.
really
but
Iron Man.
It's all right.
Sort of potential.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, typically when I go in, I already know the things that are going to help for my play style. So there are certain things that I just typically ignore. I'm typically not bringing like explodey arrows and flash bangies and so forth. It's typically water, fire. Forget the broad ones, so I can like shut off lights and stuff like that. But
So, honestly, what you tell me is you are more a ghost player. for
I
this game.
try, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, and sometimes if that means clubbing a dude in the head,
All right.
sometimes you just club a dude in the head.
So
you
you were asking me a little bit earlier, what is the definition of opportunist?
Right.
Maybe this is it. You mix a little bit this, and this is it. You're an opportunist. Yeah.
So tell me about these people sitting around. Sometimes it seems like they're there just for the color. They're there to give you an idea of how oppressive this place is. And sometimes the NPCs will alert guards. What are the uses of NPC?
Usually because really the city is kind of sick, so there is a lot of beggars, there is a lot of poor people, but we are going in the city, for example, there is also civilian, and if they are civilian, you don't have to hide. It's not like guards. But if they feel that they are in danger, they become alerter and they try to reach a guard and bring them to help them.
Right.
But if you do nothing bad with them, you should not have any problem with them.
SNE Press wants to know why there's a nightclub in the game. The original didn't have cred like that. Have you played Thieves before? You've heard of the Blackjack, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that new.
No, there is the blackjack is there. Yeah.
A few guards, residents upstairs.
Another thing that I like, it's you just use it. It's the swoop. This kind of move that it speed up a little bit your movement. It's really useful to bypass a guard, for example.
Do you think swoop is a pretty integral part of the game, or do you suppose that? Can it be turned off, for example?
No, not this one. And honestly, I'm 100% sure that when you're going to, when people will start to play, they will fall in love with the move. Honestly, it's well done. The control is, it feels natural, and it gives you this feeling that yes, that's why you're Garrett. That's why you're better than the other, because that type of agility, let's say.
Benefit richly.
So a lot of talk too in the chat from before about the voice acting, and of course you have a new actor playing Garrett,
You're right.
and some folks feel so incredibly betrayed by that. What was the thought process behind having a new voice actor, and how did Steven handle the news? Or
The goal is really was really to bring back this franchise, and to say this is our proposition for a 2014 Thief. So that's why we decided to change all the context and make sure that now we restarted from a fresh restart, and we are really happy with our new actor. His name is Romano, and I think it fit perfectly. I mean, honestly, it's the more and more we release trailer and stuff like this, I think that people now get to appreciate the new actor.
My way out.
I mean,
Once I drop
change
down.
nothing about the past. The past, the guy was just amazing, but I feel that with today's speaking, it fit perfectly with our game.
somebody Nefarious asking about the supernatural elements in Thief.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
It's been established before that they're there. What do you suppose, in terms of previous Thief games to now, what do you suppose is the presence greater, lesser? What do you think? The fourth, if I can call it that.
On our side, we
lands.
talk about mysticism. Let's say it's part of the franchise.
Flame so bright, night became.
At the same time, we are really careful with this because immersion is really the key with this game. We really want to make sure you're going to believe in this city. So if, let's say, I don't know, there is a chicken spitting fires, you won't believe in this, you know, no dinosaur in game, you know. But yes, there is some mystical element in this game. But it's the ratio is the same that the previous title, I guess.
Guy with Lightsaber and CFC Laza have two questions that kind of go along together, I think. CFC, or Guy with Lightsabers, you know, he saw the Mechanist symbol on the book in the Turning Stairs puzzle and was kind of curious about, you know, how much of the old lore did you just throw out and how much did you decide to keep? And sort of for myself, I'm curious how much of that was just sort of a nod to previous games that don't really have anything to do with the story you're telling now. And then moving beyond that, you know, a few folks wondering about, you know, do you think this is going to appeal to people that are new, people that don't care about what Thief was before, and people that only care about whether the new Thief is good? There's a lot of stuff wrapped up in that, I know, but
yeah, it's but this about the fact that there is a new generation of people discovering this franchise, but also, I guess, people like you and me that playing this game a long time before, to talk to these two group of people has been a very big challenge.
When was the last time anyone saw
You don't have to, if you don't know the previous title, it's not a problem. I think you have a problem, Sebastian, right?
No.
Yeah, I know.
You need to know you can't run, so the movement is, you know, a lot of things are not allowed.
Oh, you're right, because yeah, by
Iron
having the Iron Man, it's you cannot run, so you have to be really careful. So yeah.
So there's no like parkour into it. Like you can't pull off a little bit of an Ezio on that and just go zoom and up. You have to get right up against it and start climbing.
Super technical.
River drains were
It's a
clogged
good challenge.
with
If those who will try it,
was right.
Yeah.
Like a giant sloop.
So as I seen, what's with the nightclub? We did answer your question. It's the blackjack. It's not new.
Who stood way
No.
deep in sorting them out.
here you go, buddy.
All right, let's see if.
Good job. I'm proud. You did it. And you did it after I said to turn off the interface, so I'm
Yeah, a good ghost.
a good ghost. Still a little bit of an opportunist in there, but
Yeah.
I think you did pretty good. So I think that is probably a good time to say thank you. Thank you to both of you for joining us. Thank you to everybody out there, and thank you to your whole crew for coming. For Thief, you should look for our review, which will be up probably along with everybody else's on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Pacific
Okay.
time is the embargo. You can go to your PR people and talk about that if you don't want that. But that's when it goes up, and I'll have lots to say about Thief at that point. I think a lot of people will have a lot to say about Thief at that point. And until then, thank you. And
It's been a pleasure.
yeah,
Thanks
and
for the opportunity.
Have fun, everybody, playing Thief next week.
Yeah.